Well, I guess everybody in marketing will answer that a little bit from their own particular sub area. The way I see it, well, one thing that is observable, I guess, for everybody is that a lot of behaviors that people have changed due to COVID. Maybe temporary, and maybe some of those will stay. And for example, there's different ways of different consumer behaviors, different ways of organizing retailing and services that may find markets that didn't exist before, and that might stay. And in that sense, it might contribute to the marketing activities, the innovative entrepreneurial marketing activities of marketers might contribute to growth. But there's another aspect that I'm sort of personally fascinated by, is that what we've seen in the last year and a half is that a lot of what we do as citizens and the way governments try to structure our behavior as citizens is also sort of within the domain of marketing. Because, for example, so the provision of public goods, and public goods could be like security by keeping social distance, or more recently, getting vaccinated in order to protect yourself in the long run, but also the people around you or people you don't know. So there is a sudden sort of realization that there is a lot of public goods, like security, like safety and health of other people around you, and therefore the health of a community, that governments try to influence, it also some action groups of people try to influence, and that require marketing insight in order to do that. For example, one very good example of sort of lack of marketing insight that I see around me in the last weeks or so is that you have this problem with AstraZeneca. That is one of the vaccines that causes a very small number of fatal reactions of people, and therefore has caused some deaths. But statistically, they're minuscule. I mean, it's very small. So therefore, governments are trying to, not everybody, I mean, there's some countries are different, but some governments try to continue the application of AstraZeneca as much as possible, giving the statistical argument, right? There's only one in a million who dies. So that you can neglect that. But people don't neglect that, right? So because the emotional response is something else than statistical insight. And even this morning I read in the newspaper that governments completely ignore that sort of marketing understanding that emotions matter, right? And therefore continue to, and then even their predictions on why we need AstraZeneca in order to get all the vaccinations in time. They all expect people to just do with it because they understand the statistics. I think many people understand the statistics, but they also have emotions. And that's where marketing, I think, can contribute a lot in understanding that. There's actually some marketing colleagues who have published papers in big medical journals on how to convince people to get vaccinated, for example, right? So that is, I think that is a very big, also the entire understanding, the entire structuring of society in order to keep each other safe, and the way marketing can help us or can help governments understanding how they should do that, and actually should inform governments who sometimes don't know, understand human behavior. I think there is a big contribution of marketing to at least, maybe not economic growth per se, but at least growth of, say, communities and societies as well. That's sort of my take on it. Of course, there's many other perspectives on what this could mean, but that's my take.